This is the Reverend Dr. William L. Johnson III. I am the palliative care chaplain here at Christian Hospital Northeast, and I'm so glad to be with you once more. It is always a joy to be able to share with you. I think of it as a gift to me as well as an opportunity to share what I consider the best of life, to be able to offer encouragement to others and inspiration as I have been encouraged and inspired. Today, we say to you, as we do all the time, for those of you who are just tuning in to our sharing for these morning meditations, welcome. We are so glad to have you. And for others who have been journeying with us a while, thank you so much for your consistent support, your words of encouragement, sending us messages and emails, encouraging us along the way. It means a lot. And in the coming weeks, we hope to prepare a survey for you to try to find out what ways that we find what we are doing continues to be relevant and speaks to your needs, and in other ways we can improve. So thank you so much for your feedback in the future about these morning meditations. Now, I want to share this message with you today. I think, I always say this, they speak to me first and then I share them with you. I want to talk with you about seeing it from the other side. Seeing it from the other side. I want to begin our conversation this morning with a prayer, and it's a rather lengthy one, but I think it begins our time together. And if you will bear with me, I'm going to read some of this prayer written by the late Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman, which happens to be one of my favorite people in the world, a Christian mystic who really changed the world, in my opinion, at a time when we needed to hear something of substance that had some anchoring for us in times of trouble. He was a mentor to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And to many others, a great soul who shared so much. And I want to share this prayer with you. It's entitled, "The Little Graces of Life." Our Father, turn aside from the things that ordinarily occupy our waking hours, and we wait in thy presence. We are reminded of the graces of life that are so commonplace, so much a part of our daily living, that the grace of them is lost sight of. Each day, for many days, we have been able to arise from our beds and be active, to do our work, to live our lives with the full function of our bodies. Each day, we have been greeted by few people who understand us and who salute us. We have been smiled upon, and we have been blessed by the countenances of many of your children. The little graces of life. We've been visited also, O God, by concerns to which we have responded, sometimes with enthusiasm and conviction, and other times we have been so overwhelmed with our own personal needs and disorders and complexities that we have not had any time to give to the needs and disorders and complexities of other people. And we feel just a little guilty about it as we linger in the quietness, sorting out the details of our lives. We do not want to have hard hearts. We do not want to close the windows of our spirits to the cries and to the agonies of those whose needs cry out to you. There seems to be no ear to hear or no hand to satisfy. And we do not wish to be this way, but our own lives are hard and our frustrations are very great. Thus, O God, we try to loosen ourselves up so that we may become aware of what it is that you are seeking to do in us and in the world, so that after this hour or this time that we spend with you, we may not only be refreshed and renewed, but we may be on the scent of that which is your will for our lives. To know your will, O God, and to sink these little minds and little purposes of ours into your will. This is the heart of our hunger, O God of our spirits, as we wait in your presence. That's a beautiful prayer, isn't it? I found it to be absolutely beautiful. And the reason why I want to begin with that prayer, because it reminds us that often in our lives, we become so much enraptured in the goings on of our lives that it is really hard to see anything other than the problems or the challenges that we all face, and to get beyond that to see the other things that are really important for the reason and the purpose for which we live. So I wanted to talk about seeing it from the other side and offer and pose some questions for us as we begin. What really is the difference between tragedy and triumph, or between defeat and victory, or between death and life? I'm convinced it is that in large part a matter of perspective. I really do believe that, of how we see life and how we are being seen. Adapting our regular practices for a skill to see it from the other side is an important thing for us to gain clarity on the differences of our experiences, or the things that we want to embrace, or even the ability to enjoy our lives. We are placed in this place for a reason, and we are often plagued with the inability to live in this place for which we are, and to respect the positions and the posture that we possess. And when I wrote these notes about today, I wanted to really articulate what it is I'm trying to say. That we have an insatiable need to either be obsessed with what has passed in our yesterday, or to be obsessed with what is happening for our tomorrow. And the difficulty with that is that we often miss the moments that we have right now. And the reason that we are struggling so much, I would say, is that we fail to be able to see life from the other side. So what do you mean, Chaplain Johnson, the other side? What I mean by the other side is that often we find ourselves enraptured in our own lives, our own circumstances, what happened yesterday, obsessing with who said what and who did what and how we felt about those things. Or we are so obsessed about trying to gain the next step or get to the next thing that we miss the moments that we're in. And in those moments are the only moments that count. The truth is, now is the only time that we really occupy. We can't go back to yesterday, and we can't go forward into tomorrow. We can't go back 5 minutes ago, and we can't launch ourselves in 5 minutes ahead. But our world and our society has taught us, and we have learned by sometimes by our own pain, really, that to not plan for tomorrow, it would be foolishness. And to not learn from yesterday would be foolishness. And I'm not suggesting that we ought not learn from yesterday, nor am I suggesting that we should not plan for tomorrow. But what I would want us to do is to be able to live our lives in now. Now. Take the breath that you have to take now. Laugh now. Love now. Enjoy life now. Don't wait till fall to start thinking about and remembering how great spring was. And don't wait till the summer to appreciate winter. And don't wait till winter to appreciate the summer. In other words, enjoy the now that you're in. In fact, it is the only life that we're given, and we are given that life now. Well, why am I insisting that we do that? As we approach this time, we are opening up to the spring of the year. And for many, by their faith traditions, depending on where you come from, for me as a Christian, it is a time as we are moving through the season of Lent, moving and marching toward Easter and the day of resurrection. And the mindfulness of where we are reminds us to not get so far ahead that we forget where we are now. And I'm convinced that the reason why we would like to forget now or get away from now, because sometimes now is really painful and it's filled with ambiguity and it feels so insecure. And the reason for that is that we probably have never had a chance to see it from the other side. Um, I mentioned this and I wanted to say this momentarily. I think I'll take a moment to digress. To be able to acknowledge our past, our yesterday, is important to learn from. And to see it from the other side is to be able to launch ourselves ahead and be able to say, okay, I understand now what yesterday meant, but to not let it occupy your every moment. Some of the moments were great. Reminiscing is good. I remember times at the beach, or I remember going to Six Flags as a kid, or I remember growing up in the old neighborhood and finding the neighborhood little restaurant on the corner where there were pinball machines and a deli there, and they had some of the best hamburgers, greasy as they could ever be. But boy, did we love those on a Saturday morning. I remember walking through neighborhoods and going to Better Donuts that no longer exist right off of Grand on Sunday mornings and looking forward to that treat before going to church or getting it after church and having that. Those were moments to reminisce about. And as much as I would like to bring back those moments, I can't. I'll never be able to grab those moments from my childhood, place myself in them. I'll still be a 52-year-old man trying to live the life of a 7 or 8 or 9 or 10-year-old. There's no way to go back. I can learn from it, appreciate it, build upon it, but I can't go back. And the better part of it is that I can't launch myself forward. That the moments that we are in sometimes feel so painful that we don't really enjoy them, or we are afraid that not going to last long, and so our minds are already projecting on what's going to happen next. Some years ago, I had a dog. His name was Moses. My daughter named him Moses, and Moses just was the most amazing dog. We picked him up from a kennel as a puppy, and we raised him. And boy, was he a blessing to our lives. He's in doggy heaven now, but we thank God for Moses. And Moses brought so much to our lives. But Moses loved snacks. He really did. And often when he would get a snack, he would do all the things you want him to do. He'd sit obediently. He'd wait and look at you with these big eyes and asking and pleading for what was going to come next. And so you would get the snack. Sometimes I would give him carrots. Carrots, dogs love carrots, I've learned. And we would give him a carrot and he would wag his tail. But before he could even enjoy it, he'd swallowed it, looking for the next one. And I often think that's how we are about our lives. Before we can even digest and appreciate the moment we're in, we're more than likely looking for the next one and wondering when the next one and when the next one after that is going to come, and not really loving, embracing, and enjoying the life we have. It's a beautiful life if you slow down and enjoy it. And even the painful parts, losing loved ones, dealing with sickness, going through financial ruin or difficulty, not ruin, but difficulty, or discovering that you can come back from a place that you didn't think you could, or reconnecting with loved ones and friends. Whatever it is that life is bringing you today, embrace it. It's worth it. What I want to say lastly is that seeing it from the other side, a different perspective, I'm really talking about God's perspective. And that's what the prayer from Howard Thurman really was trying to share. To look ahead and imagine what you look like in the eyes of another. It's scary enough to think, just imagine what you look like in the eyes of another person. But it's even more scary to imagine what you look like in God's eyes. That's the part that really gets me. What must I have looked like when I was saying what I was saying? in the eyes of God. And what must I have looked like when I was doing what I was doing from God's perspective? And to imagine that perspective for my day right now, it will change the way I interact with other people. I think it's important. I say this all the time, that I think it's important to reclaim the fact that we are created and not the creator. We are creature, not the creator. And in doing so, we are invited to join in creation, but we are not the creator. And because of that, then how we're made and what we're called to do and how we live our lives really does matter. It matters how you love those around you. It matters how you treat those around you. It matters how you respond when people have not treated you fairly or rightly. It matters what you say. It matters what you do. Because from seeing it from the other side, you will discover a different perspective can lighten your load. I have learned that seeing it from the other side is like this. When I was just about to give up, and when I was exhausted and weary, from my perspective, I saw no hope. I saw no future. I saw no road to success. But when I imagined and saw it from the other side, from the perspective of a God who loves me, then I realized that the oasis was just around the corner. The opportunity was just waiting for me. The love of my life was just a few steps away. And happiness and joy in the moments in which I needed the most were just within my fingertips and my grasp. Because the God that loves me and wakes me daily knows exactly what I need for the day. Yeah, let's see it from the other side. Take a moment, meditate on that, and pray as Howard Thurman prayed. God, it's been rough, and I'm not quite sure if I knew how to do this right, but help me as I'm trying to see things from the other side. Let me see it from your perspective, and let me live my life for now. Thank you so much. We are praying for you. We want you to know that you are loved, you are appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. This is the Reverend Dr. William L. Johnson, Chaplain of Palliative Care at Christian Hospital, once again signing off. But we're praying for you, and we want you to know you matter. Thank you for your time.